So you want to take the short edge of your A4 or letter size 8.5 by 11 paper, depending whether you're in North America, Canada, whatever, Mexico, England, Spain. Let me know where you're making snowflakes today, or where you're watching from. I'm cutting snowflakes in Canada, and truth be told, Christmas is over. I'm doing this between Christmas and New Year. I have some time off, and I watched a lot of tutorials and started getting ideas for making snowflakes. Now you have a square piece of paper that you're folding diagonally. I've turned the long edge of this triangle towards me, and I'm going to fold that in half. Some things I'm just sort of doing automatically now without really thinking about it is helping this edge here to come into a crease easily. Sometimes the paper buckles, and just be careful of that because you want a nice fold here. You don't want a whole bunch of folding this way and that way. I'm always folding down those edges as best as I can. You're telling the paper how to fold. Now what you want to do is you're taking the center point and you're going to fold into 3 equal parts. You're doing 2 folds, creating 3 kind of triangular sections. And I'm generally getting the hang of getting it pretty close, but not every time. So I kind of just do it by feel, by eye I mean, and feel I guess. So that's pretty good. I'll just turn it back this way, and that way you can see that I'm lining up. I'm always lining up these 2 long edges of this triangle. And it doesn't matter whether you fold it over itself or back on itself like an accordion. Essentially you just keep folding until you get this shape, which is like an ice cream cone shape. You can see that is not quite aligning perfectly. Sometimes it's just depending on whether you fold it one way or the other, because the paper that has to go on the very outside is always going to be slightly pushed out farther. But just keep working it until you're happy with the folds where they are. And you know, snowflakes are pretty forgiving in terms of design. I think that's integral to the symmetry of it all. It's like if you make a mistake once, it might stand out. But if that mistake is repeated 6 times, well then it looks like it's a pattern, and so you don't have to be too hard on yourself whether your cuts are perfect or whether you're exactly perfect in these folds. I mean, it's something to try for, but it's not gonna make or break most designs. So now at this point, just gonna create some diagonal shapes, and I'm going all the way out to that outer edge. I usually don't start both edges at the top. I like to have this fold a little shorter. I think it makes it a little more interesting. Kind of just doing a whole bunch of shapes like this. It's a bit like a zigzaggy shapes. What I'm trying to do is go straight here, a little bit more straight. I've done some curved ones like this, so I want this to be a bit straighter. That's good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe like that. I'm just working out some of the finer details here. I tend to be pretty heavy-handed with the pencil, so I have to do a lot of erasing as I go. So what you're trying to think about in your design is having parts where the design will attach onto these folded edges. So you've got here, this will be attached all the way around, that will be attached. Anything where it's hitting the edge, and these where you darken it, those are going to be holes. So let's see. One thing you can think about is this edge is going to be a symmetrical edge, and that edge is going to be a symmetrical edge. So everything you do in terms of this is going to create a symmetry, and everything emanating from this side is going to create a symmetry. So this line that goes this way and this way is going to have this feeling of symmetry. And then this goes this way is going to create a symmetry over here. And you know, it all ends up going together. And I'm just sort of learning this as I go. Like, I'm starting to get a feel for like what shapes I might get out of it. I was just trying to create like a little bit of a lightning bolt kind of thing going on. And this will be easy because all the shapes are straight and often come to a point, which can make it easier. So let's start at the outer edge. I like to start at the outer edge, get the big bulk of this cut off. There you go. You think, oh, you cut off a lot there. But you'll see. It's all the play of positive and negative shapes. Depending on whatever way you look at your glass, maybe you think the negative shape is a positive shape. It all depends, my friend. I was a little concerned about this getting too close to this edge over here in that cut, so I backed it off a little bit. You can see I didn't want to come too close because that can weaken the integrity of the design. Integrity? I don't know. If we were building skyscrapers, it might matter more. It's a snowflake, so just tell me to settle down because it doesn't matter that much. We're getting there. We are getting there. It's like lattice, I think. What is lattice? It's like a fencing, I think, or a way that fencing is. Not fencing. The stuff you put on the side of a house to run, I don't know, some kind of vines or flowers up the side of. I'm digressing all over the place. Oh, I have a dirty eraser and a somewhat less dirty eraser. Yeah, they still work, which is crazy. I really like this style of eraser. It's really soft and doesn't kind of hack the paper up a lot. Some erasers really scrape off the paper, the layer. Oh man, I'm so hungry. You know, if you're gonna be an artist and you get hungry a lot, I would recommend becoming a chef because you get to eat your designs. I mean, come on, you get to eat your creations. I have a friend who's a chef, and I often envy that he's right in the right place. Not that he can eat food while he's working, but you know, it's there. If he's hungry, it's there. Look at that. I don't know if I even like this snowflake yet. Of all the ones so far, I thought this was going to be cool, but I mean, it's all personal taste, right? Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I think what's interesting about this one is I've created one sort of shape. It feels like a circle here, and then there's like a six-sided star kind of thing too. Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I got a bunch more that I'm going to be doing, so I like this one, but it's not my favorite. I think it's not as inspired as some of the other ones. But the most important thing is, will it spin? I think I'm just getting worse. I think it has to be like stiffer to spin. And the hole in the middle has to be better. If you like this video, please hit that, or I don't know, do something with that like button, or the dislike button. One of those buttons down here. What I really like doing is finding one form of art and then just exploring the heck out of it and just seeing the variety. I love doing the same thing in different ways. It would be like if you decided to do a portrait of somebody, the same person, every day, but try to do it differently, use different mediums and different artistic approaches. So that's kind of a little bit about my process and how I work. Let's get on to the next one.